Pressing the record button. So we're looking at our first example, and what I've got is I've got a property that we've acquired for $100,000. It contained an old warehouse that was demolished at a cost of $6,000, and that was a net cost. There were some other things that we did there as well, which was we sold some scrap. We had some solicitors' fees of $1,000 and some stamp duty of $2,000. Now, of those items, what do you think we include and what do you exclude? Well, our first thing that we want to include is the actual cost of the land, so the property that we acquired. Now, the rules behind the valuing or capital costs in relation to non-current assets means that we can use anything that, or we can include anything that makes the asset usable. So if we wanted land and there was some building on it and we demolished the building, well, that's making the land usable for us, so we can include that. Now, the also thing, we want to include the solicitor's fees as part of the cost, because that's a one-off cost. In acquiring the land, we had to incur solicitor's fees. And this stamp duty also is another one of the costs. So how would I value my land, or how much is the value of my land? Property cost, $100,000. We've got demolition costs of $6,000, solicitors' fees of $1,000, and stamp duty of $2,000. So that gives me a total cost of $109,000, which is my capital cost. So I've got that included already. So when I go to put my asset in my asset register, it goes in as a value of $109,000. All right. Let's look at a little bit more of a complex example, and I'm saying only, when I say complex, I mean only a little bit more complex. All right, so what we've got here is we've got a calculation of the cost of a delivery truck. The delivery truck was purchased for $22,000. Related expenditures for air conditioning were $1,320, and we put some painting and lettering of $500 on there. We had some vehicle registrations of $350 and a 3-year accident insurance policy of $1,600. Now, you can sort of see I've got 1, 2, 3 lines there, so I'm only going to include 3 items out of the 5. Which 2 do you think we exclude? You can have a wild guess. There's no assessment marks on this one. Insurance. I agree. Why do you exclude insurance?
Because that doesn't really value the truck.
That's right. It doesn't increase any value in the asset. And plus, insurance is an ongoing operational expense. What else do you reckon you should exclude? Registration. Yeah, easy. So what we're including is all the items that make the asset usable. Now, okay, people could argue that you can't use the truck unless you have registration, but you need registration every year, so it becomes an operating expense. Okay, so what we've got purchase price, and that was for $22,000. We've got aircon of $1,320, and we've got painting and lettering. $500. So that gives me a grand total of $23,820. So that becomes my capital cost of my truck. Now the next bit, it says record the entry to purchase the truck and the related expenditures. Okay, so what we're now doing is we've got the cost of the delivery truck, so I've got delivery. What is it, a debit or a credit? So this is my debits here, and this is my credits, yep. So, of 23,820. Registration. 350. Now this goes into prepaid insurance because it's for a couple of years, and insurance always goes into RANCE. Insurance always goes into prepaid because it's one of those items that's always prepaid and we use it up later. And the last part of my credit entry, cash at bank, what does that come to? 24, 25, 420, 25, 770. 25,770. So that's how do we record, or costs do we include. So once again, these two items here are expenses, and this is my non-current asset. Alright.